this is the place to do it. Hey, travel reporter John Bartell here. California is full of quirky collections. Some of those collections are in museums, others are in people's front yards. I've traveled all over California and discovered a bunch of strange yet wonderful locations, including the International Banana Museum out in the Salton Sea, where one man is on a mission to collect everything banana related. Let me show you how weird California can get.
Well, to find this place, you'll have to keep your eyes peeled. The International Banana Museum has odd hours and it's not well advertised. So you'll just have to look for the bait shop and liquor store just outside of North Shore. And if you're lucky enough to see the bright yellow Camaro outside, chances are Fred Garbut's inside spouting out some of his favorite banana puns.
Usually I tell people when they're ready to go, I'd say, well, it's hard to see you split, or don't peel out. You were so appealing.
Better prepare yourself. There's a bunch more where that came from.
Yeah, I'm crazy. I'm nuts. Here, come see this crazy banana. It's like, if that's what brings him in, whatever.
And bring him in he does. Visitors from all over the world love to come and marvel over Fred's side-splitting collection of more than 25,000 banana-related items, including this appealing musical device.
But this is the electric banana phonograph.
Fred's banana collection is always growing. Visitors regularly donate banana artifacts to the museum, and one visitor even painted a banana mural.
Everybody, after they're done in the museum, come back here and take some fun photos and things.
In Yuba County, when code enforcement told a man that he couldn't live in an old church, he got creative, turning it into a museum full of oddities like a two-headed goose and vintage photos. Welcome to the Church of Curiosity, where the strange and the historic share a pew. The church bells no longer ring in the little gold rush town of Camptonville. But that doesn't mean that the church doors don't open.
Come on in, man.
And the pews aren't full of congregants.
So this is a possum with glasses who's packing a bunch of brush, which possums don't do. That's what makes it unusual.
Do a lot of possums wear glasses?
No, mine do.
Yours do?
Yes, they do.
Welcome to Bob McDonald's Church of Curiosity, a display case for whatever Bob wants. What is this thing?
Barbecue skunk. It's a skunk barbecuing on a rotisserie.
There's no charge to enter the Church of Curiosity. In fact, Bob may even offer you some of his famous Sakatumi cake and invite you in. What's the name come from?
It comes from Sakatumi, yeah, exactly.
Like the song?
Exactly.
If you've never heard of Camptonville or the Church of Curiosity, you're not alone. It's located north of Grass Valley up Highway 49 near the border of Yuba and Sierra counties. Camptonville's claim to fame is being the home of Lester Pelton, inventor of the Pelton wheel.
It was a water wheel used for, who knows, stamp mills, generate power.
About 100 people live in Camptonville. There's a school, a community center, a Forest Service station, and of course, the church and cemetery.
If it wasn't for the cemetery, nobody would come up here.
Before it was the Church of Curiosity, it was an old Methodist church. After it shut down, Bob bought it and turned it into a cabin/rental home.
Somebody called Yuba County, and Yuba County said you can't have people living in a church.
The county told Bob he couldn't rent it or live in it without significant improvements, but they didn't say he couldn't turn it into a museum of sorts.
I'm not the greatest historian or anything else. I'm just, like you said, the keeper of the stuff, man, till the next guy comes along.
Bob inherited most of the stuff from neighbors who passed away in town or other neighbors in town like Faye Mellinger, who also gives tours of the place.
You can come in here 100 times and you'll never see everything.
Other than the local artifacts, Bob spiced up the collection with his own handmade taxidermy collection.
This is a two-headed goose. It's a speckle-bellied goose.
Bob likes to put his own artistic flair into his taxidermy, and he's pretty proud of it. How would you grade yourself on this one?
Well, I'll give myself an A on this one. Just for the effect. Just for the effect of what it's saying.
Bob's eclectic art can be seen throughout town. On Calvin Street, you'll find these bears driving a truck.
It's just something out of the ordinary that I like that'll catch people's eye, that's all.
If one church wasn't enough, Bob bought a second, the old Catholic church across the street. Inside is the Camptonville Historic Society's collection of artifacts, and outside is a band of metal art sculptures.
They're all playing music facing towards the Church of Curiosity.
Bob says there's not much going on in town.
There's nothing to do in Camptonville, so this is it.
But if you ask me, there's plenty to see, and Bob's preserving it, whether he knows what it is or not.
Then you tell me, well, I have no idea what it is, man. Looks like some kind of a voodoo thing, man.
Clark's Collectibles, better known as the Lunchbox Museum, located in Nice, California, is a nostalgic labor of love run by a husband and wife duo. Pack up your thermos and head to Lake County for a quirky road trip stop. She's a little terrifying.
Yes, she is. Yes. I have friends that won't come in.
This is Clark's Collectibles, better known as the Lunchbox Museum.
We have a little bit of everything in here.
Yeah, yes you do. Deb Clark and her husband started the Odd Collection back in 1985. How many lunchboxes do you have?
900.
900.
Maybe a little bit more.
Deb has more lunchboxes than there are days in the year, and there's something for everyone.
And up here we have our Western, Flipper, and Flying Nun, Laugh-In, Casper, Popeye. This is very rare. If you ever see that, it's probably worth $1,000 now.
Is there still quite a big market for lunchboxes?
I just sold a barn yesterday. That barn up there, I got $30 for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Deb has sold so many lunchbox memorabilia items that she's an eBay award-winning seller. Now, these are not for sale?
No, but they try to get them from me. Yeah.
Now, if you thought the Lunchbox collection was weird, wait till you see the back of the store.
Well, this is my husband's collection.
Deb's husband collects and refurbishes old animatronic robots. Some of them date back to the 1930s. Others he's built himself. In case you're wondering, this terrifying woman's name is Laughing Sally. This is like early, Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, very early Chuck E. Cheese, yeah.
It's hard to put a price tag on the collection, but Deb says that she has the place insured for about $250,000. What is your fascination with these lunchboxes?
Well, the first thing is I have issues. My mother threw my Barbie lunchbox away because I spilled milk in it.
Some may say that Deb's childhood tragedy has turned into an obsession, but to her, it's nothing like that.
I just think it's fun. I just have fun.
At the National Yo-Yo Museum in Chico, one man's lifelong love for the classic toy is on full display, including the world's largest yo-yo. Stop by the Yo-Yo Museum, and he might even show you a trick or two. Your parents probably had one, you probably had one, heck, your kids might even have one. They're the fad that seems to come and go with time, but do you know the real comeback story of the yo-yo? Walk inside the Bird in Hand gift shop off Broadway Street and you'll probably find Bob Maloney. Is this the world's biggest yo-yo?
Guinness Book of Records thought it so for 12 years.
Oh.
Till someone made one out of styrofoam, but we don't count that.
Okay. Big ones, small ones, plastic and metal ones. The National Yo-Yo Museum has it all, including the odd ones.
There's a Furby. Remember Furby?
Furbies, yeah. Paintings of the yo-yo date back to 500 BC in ancient Greece, but the yo-yo as we know it was made popular by Filipino law student Pedro Flores.
Pedro started in Santa Barbara, but he had 3 companies in Los Angeles turning out the yo-yos.
In 1928, a man by the name of Donald F. Duncan discovered Pedro's toy and eventually purchased the rights to its trademark. By 1965, Duncan was the leading yo-yo producer in the world.
There is such a thing called the National Yo-Yo League.
Fast forward to 1990, Bob was holding a yo-yo contest when a department store liaison asked him if he would tour the nation, showing off an exhibit of historic yo-yos. After 3 years on the road, Bob settled down in Chico and started the National Yo-Yo Contest and eventually the museum. How many yo-yos are we talking here?
Often asked question, and my answer is standard. Would you please count them for me?
The number of yo-yos don't attract people to the museum. It's the rarity and uniqueness of the yo-yos.
This is like a transformer.
The museum also holds the Yo-Yo Hall of Fame, where you can see all the winners of the National Yo-Yo Contest.
You're gonna need a really strong wrist if
Yeah.
you're gonna do this.
The National Yo-Yo Museum is free and open every day, and if you can visit on June 6th, that's National Yo-Yo Day.
Hey, you're watching Bartell's Backroads, and we're checking out some of California's odd and quirky collections. Now, just off of I-5 in Colusa County, you'll find Granzels Restaurant, and they're known for their famous muffaletta sandwich, but if you step inside, their walls are covered in safari trophies from all over the world.
Located just off I-5 past the Green Dinosaur in the little town of Williams, you'll find a zoo of sorts. This is the taxidermy collection inside Granzella's bar.
How much taxidermy do you have in here?
You know, I've never counted them. I would probably say well over 100.
Co-owner Dino McCarty may not know how many animals are hanging on the wall, but he sure knows how they got there.
Pretty much all friends. Yeah,
They saw that you had the space, so
Yeah.
you mounted it for them.
exactly.
Dino says his grandfather, Jim Granzella, the founder of the bar and restaurant, wasn't much of a hunter, but his friends, however, were.
Joviano, which gave us mostly African, they were all shot back in the 50s and 60s.
When it comes to the exotic animals, Dino says they were killed during a time when hunting laws were different. The mounts you see now were either donated or loaned to Granzella's so the public could see them. Taxidermy's not the only thing Granzella's is known for. Fresh-made deli sandwiches have been enticing people to pull off Interstate 5 since the family started the business back in 1976.
I'm telling you, man, it's the best.
The secret ingredient to the sandwich is the homemade muffaletta.
Which is giardiniera and mushrooms and artichokes and carrots all chopped up with olives.
Speaking of olives, Granzella's also sells a variety of locally sourced olives, stuffed with everything you can think of.
They put fish to nuts.
Beer, gelato, bread, and even a gift shop full of knickknacks. The town of Williams may be just an exit off the freeway, but Granzella's has everything a weary traveler needs, including a hotel.
Yeah, we're the place in town to be.
At the American Coffee Pot Museum in Washington, California, the owner claims it's the largest collection west of the Mississippi. Some pots date back to the 1890s, and many are true works of art. Just don't expect a cup of joe when you get there. You don't pass through the small town of Washington, but if you do end up on this dead-end road, make a point to stop at the local museum.
Oh, this is the Coffee Pot Museum.
This is the largest collection of coffee pots west of the Mississippi. Well, that's according to Walt Ahrens.
Well, you challenge it.
Walt's collection isn't verified by Guinness Book of World Records, but his inventory is impressive.
They're like a work of art. Each company made its own design.
The coffee pot obsession started 30 years ago. The first pot was a present to his girlfriend.
So I started picking them up and bringing them in more and more. Till finally she said, stop. Well, I couldn't stop.
The relationship didn't last, but his love for pots did. Eventually, Walt moved his collection to Washington, California, in this historic building.
These doors came from Scotland.
Since the breakup, Walt has expanded his collection. Waffle irons and meat grinders add variety to the display.
It just started like everything else. First you have one, then you got two, and then you got 100 of them.
As odd as the collection is, the relics from the past remind museum patrons that individuality is important, and so's a good laugh.
You'd wake up in the morning, your throat would be sore from laughing.
And the biggest laugh of all is Walt's favorite coffee pot.
No, I'm not a purist, yeah.
Lately, the artifacts have been gathering a lot of dust. Walt's not as young as he used to be, and he's been forced to reduce the hours at the museum.
Well, I'm gonna be dead soon, so I don't know what to do with the property.
Real estate is cheap in a town with more dogs than people, so if you're looking to add to your collection, put a pot on the stove and work out a deal with Walt.
How do you like your coffee?
Right. I like it with cream, yeah.
Pictures and footprints haven't convinced scientists that Bigfoot is real, but that hasn't stopped one man in Felton from opening a museum dedicated to the legendary creature. Let's head to Santa Cruz County to look inside the museum and see his massive collection of Bigfoot research and memorabilia.
Deep within the forests of Santa Cruz County, there's an elusive creature that very few people have heard, let alone seen.
So we set up down there and we got our audio recorders. And just as we were setting up, we heard a scream.
For the better part of his adult life, Michael has been working to get a recording of the animal. And a few years ago, he got it.
Right here. Here's the Bigfoot. You catch that?
Uh-huh.
Whoa!
If you didn't catch it, here it is again. That is Bigfoot, according to Michael, and he's even captured video.
There's a Bigfoot behind the tree.
Since 1952, Michael's been collecting Bigfoot evidence and memorabilia from all over the world. And he displays it right here at the Bigfoot Discovery Museum in Felton, California.
And there's a full track, another full track. This is another copy of the heel print.
Formerly a graphic designer, Michael left Silicon Valley shortly after the dot-com bust in 2001 and moved into his father's workshop just off Highway 9.
And decided, you know, I'm not going to be an art studio there. I'm going to be the Bigfoot guy.
Michael became more than just a Bigfoot guy. He became a dedicated researcher and historian.
It starts with the Yeti in the Himalayas with their footprints. In 1952, there was a big spread in Life magazine.
Man must not see. I see through the Yeti.
The Yeti, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the elusive creature has many names, and over the years, believers have made pilgrimages to the Bigfoot Discovery Museum to swap stories and learn a thing or two.
There's a big misconception that there's only one Bigfoot.
Not everyone agrees with the idea of Bigfoot, and not everyone respects Michael's museum. In November of 2020, someone stole the wooden Bigfoot statue that stood outside the museum's entrance.
So it got so much publicity that I guess the people who stole it decided they better get rid of it.
The theft made headlines in several news outlets, and not long after the statue was stolen, the Scotts Valley police found the wooden Bigfoot abandoned alongside a country road.
It got a little damaged, though.
Yeah, well, they bumped his head here.
Michael says he really isn't trying to go out of his way to change the minds of skeptics. Most people who come into his museum are already believers and support Michael's research. In fact, at the height of the pandemic, Michael announced that he was closing for good due to lack of revenue. But thanks to Bigfoot believers from around the world, they were able to raise enough money for him to reopen.
Feels great. There's nothing better than have other people acknowledge what you're doing.
Well, the world's largest Star Wars memorabilia collection isn't in a galaxy far, far away. It's in Petaluma, just outside Sonoma County's wine country. Let's go to Rancho ObiWan and see this impressive collection. A long time ago, in the not-so-far-away town of Petaluma, a man purchased an old chicken coop. Petaluma is known as the egg capital of the world, but that man did not fill the chicken coop with egg-laying hens. Instead, he filled it with hostile aliens and galactic characters. He called the place Rancho ObiWan.
Let me do the cue. Da 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 da.
This is Steve Sansweet, and not only did his voice rendition of the Star Wars theme song save me a fortune in paying for musical royalty rights, but he also gave me a free tour of this massive memorabilia collection.
We're looking at the Guinness World Records collection, largest Star Wars memorabilia collection in the world.
How big is his collection, you ask? Well, the property has 3 buildings on it, totaling 9,000 square feet. And there's an additional 7,000 square foot storage facility off the property.
There's way more.
And that's full too.
Steve used to be a journalist for the Wall Street Journal, and in 1977, he was invited to an early screening of Star Wars: A New Hope. And after seeing the film, he was an instant fan.
My life has been Star Wars for 46 years.
Steve eventually became part of the fan relations at Lucasfilm and literally wrote the book, or should I say, books on Star Wars fandom.
17 different books on Star Wars, 2 encyclopedias.
In all those years of collecting, Steve has acquired some really sought-after items.
Hi, Kathy. Hi, Steve.
Golden Droid C-3PO from Return of the Jedi. Prototype rifle from Boba Fett from 1978. Millennium Falcon structure.
Authentic action figures and movie props get a lot of attention, but Steve also likes to show off his collection of knockoff Star Wars items.
From Turkey, they thought they could get away with it because they called it Stars War.
Is this a calculator?
It's a calculator.
Steve even has a collection of Star Wars branded food, including an original Pepperidge Farm cookies. Oh my god, oh, that's horrible. What is what?
We can let them through now.
Thanks, bud.
The tours at Rancho ObiWan generally last 3 or 4 hours, and trust me, you'll need all that time just to get a glimpse at a few of the items here. There's even plenty of reading material in the bathroom. From the beautifully crafted fan art to the hard-to-find toys, there's almost no Star Wars item that Steve won't collect.
I love sharing the collection. If you have a collection and it's in boxes and in your garage, what good does it do?
And though many items here at Rancho ObiWan are priceless, the displays are not just for Star Wars superfans. There's something here for everyone. Steve just has one rule though.
We don't talk about money in here. It's all about the passion behind the collectible.
Well, we're continuing our search to see some of the quirky collections throughout California. I'm John Bartell, and you're watching Bartell's Backroads. You're probably going to want some fries with this next story. San Bernardino County is home to the very first McDonald's, and one local man has collected over 80 years of fast food history. Before the Golden Arches, before the Happy Meal, and before the Big Mac, McDonald's was a barbecue restaurant that sat right here off Route 66 in San Bernardino. Who is this horrifying looking character?
That's the first rendition of Ronald McDonald.
This would give kids nightmares today, I think.
Probably, yeah.
Welcome to the historic site of the original McDonald's, now home to the unofficial McDonald's Museum. Emphasis on unofficial. Ezra Kerbal is the assistant curator at the museum, which houses a wide variety of McDonald's memorabilia.
We have 80 years worth of artifacts in our collection, everything ranging from original items from the barbecue era all the way to even the current Happy Meal toy.
McDonald's history starts back in 1940 with brothers Richard and Maurice McDonald. Back then, the menu was full of barbecue, but the brothers soon learned they could make more profit by reducing the menu to just foods they could make fast, like hamburgers and fries.
Voila.
Today, McDonald's has 34,000 restaurants in 118 countries, including France. Where are you from?
From France, from Paris.
From Paris?
Yes.
And you came all the way to see the McDonald's Museum?
Yeah, definitely.
Lots of people collect baseball cards, stamps, or coins, but Gary Medina has a pretty unique passion: windmills. In fact, his Stockton front yard is home to one of the biggest windmill collections you'll ever see. Just off Waterloo Road in Stockton, behind a red gate, is one of the most spectacular collections you'll ever see.
We're out here at Windmill Ranch on Highway 88.
Windmill Ranch, one of the largest windmill collections in the world, and it all started with this guy, Frank Medina.
Well, he always liked the sound they made when they turned it.
Frank passed away in 2008. The former hay farmer started collecting windmills in the 1960s. His favorite brand? The Air Motor.
Air Motor was kind of the Cadillac of windmills.
Frank's son Gary now looks over the collection and keeps his father's eccentric legacy alive. Gary says his dad didn't die rich, but his legacy still blows in the wind, even when there isn't any.
He had his good time and he had his bad times, but all in all, he was a pretty good guy.
So if the gate is opened at Windmill Ranch, feel free to stop by and see Frank's collection. Well, thanks for watching this episode of Bartell's Backroads, Curious Collections. I hope it's inspired you to take a road trip of your own. I'm John Bartell. Hope to see you on the Backroads.